Evading arrest and assault. Got a very extensive criminal history.
Detectives took a photo lineup containing a picture of Eric Harris to the hospital, hoping for an ID from surviving witness, Vincent Corley.
Hello, Mr. Corley. I'm Detective Arredondo. I'm going to show you a group of photographs. Okay. I'd like for you to tell me, do you recognize anyone? I showed him the lineup, and he was so adamant of Eric Harris that when I showed it to him, he took the lineup from me and he thumped it.
Who put a hold to it?
He did. He did. He put his finger right through it.
Detectives now had a name, but they needed to track down the suspect. Then, police got a break. An anonymous caller said she saw Eric Harris in a white Oldsmobile outside a house near the crime scene.
We were very excited because we're thinking, okay, maybe we can get this guy and bring closure to the case today. Hey, man, there's that car. That's the suspect vehicle. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now we in business, baby.
Hotel 123.
Well, Super Rob, what do you think, baby?
Pumped, I'm ready. I got a little nervous energy, man.
Hey, man.
Thank goodness I had Lopez and Thompson there to hold me back because I was ready to go.
Once backup arrived,
All right, let's do it.
Put it in place.
Dallas Police! Dallas Police, open the door! Dallas Police, open the door! Somebody coming. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. House, man. Who else in the house?
Eric Harris wasn't there.
The information was dead on, and the fact that he wasn't there, it made me want him even more.
It's frustrating, man. Hello?
Then, as the first 48 ticked away, Thompson received a call.
Let me show you something, Sarge. This person just called me. I identified myself. They hung up.
Thompson recognized the number. The caller was their murder suspect, Eric Harris.
When I called back, watch what it says.
Everybody's looking for me. You're not gonna find me. You're not gonna find me. Bye-bye.
Man.
It makes you mad, you know, that they're out there taunting you. But we know that eventually we're going to get them.
After a brisk start, the case had stalled. While detectives knew the identity of their first suspect, they didn't know his whereabouts, and they still had no leads on the second suspect.
For that case to have taken off the way that it did initially on that day led us to believe that we were going to close this thing very quickly. It just took our breath away.
We stayed up a couple of days, leapfrogging lead to lead, and then all of a sudden, the scent is gone.
Then, after waiting 2 months, detectives finally got a break. Eric Harris's girlfriend agreed to talk.
Now you have something that you can go with, and in this case in particular, it was big.
In November 2007, Detective Robert Arredondo was investigating the execution-style murder of Brandon Brown.
Brandon was a good guy. People loved him. He was a father, and me being a father as well, you know, I felt that we had some commonality there.
He was just a wonderful kid. He had a loving personality, helpful and funny and caring. He was a good son.
Brandon enjoyed being a barber, cutting hair for the whole neighborhood.
Brandon had a daughter who was nearly 2 when he died.
He really loved being a father because when he didn't have a child, he played with my son and my other brother's kids. He's just, kids like him. And for him to have his own, he was real happy. He always talked about his little girl. Just really, really, really talked about her a lot, like a typical father.
After waiting 2 months, detectives finally got a break. Eric Harris's girlfriend agreed to talk, and Arredondo hoped she would be able to identify the man who was with Eric Harris the night of the shooting.
I'm Detective Arredondo, just in case you forgot my name. Let me see your hand. Let me your hand. Come on. We're gonna be all right, okay? I want you to tell me the truth. There was somebody else with him.
Yeah, I do know who he was with. His name is Zoe.
He came in and made her feel good about herself, and he kind of patted her on the back and told her it was going to be okay.
They now had a name for the second suspect, Lorenzo Johnson.
Rob, you did a good job, brother.
Think so?
Oh, man, that's like, give me some.
Detectives took a lineup, including Lorenzo Johnson's photo, to surviving victim Chris Dickerson. He'd been left paralyzed by the shooting.
How are you, sir? I'm Detective Arredondo of Dallas Police. This is Detective Lopez.
Chris told detectives about the night of the murder.
We chilling, smoking weed, just chilling.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really it.
Chris, Vincent, and Brandon were partying with Eric Harris and an older man. Then the party turned into a violent robbery.
Then they got that sheet and put it over us, and then they were like, y'all ready to die? And then, bow, bow, bow. I just felt the bottom of my body go like I'm paralyzed, you know what I'm saying? They shot Brandon 2 more times or 1 more time, and they got up out of there.
Arredondo showed the lineup containing Johnson's photo to Chris.
Might be right here, number 5. He was with the other dude, black. It looked like him.
Chris picked out Lorenzo Johnson.
At that point, I'll tell you, it kind of rejuvenated me in the case, and I needed to get him some answers as well.
Arredondo didn't have to wait long. 1 week later, U.S. Marshals called to say they had located the first suspect, Eric Harris, in Dallas.
I got a chill. I really did. I got a chill that went down my back. I've been waiting so long, it seemed, to move this case forward.
Okay. Relax. Chill out.
Feel good. Go in and
Get you relaxed. So you okay? Everything all right? Want something to drink?
all right. Let's do it.
Excitement turned to anxiety as Arredondo faced his first interview with a murder suspect.
I took a minute, and I took a breath. I looked up, and I just said, Lord, help me. I was looking for a little strength, and hopefully it was going to work out for me. Well, I'm Detective Arredondo, and I need to talk to you about some things. Do you wish to talk to me about this?
Not really. Not really, Don. I want to talk to you, honestly.
You want to talk to me? Okay. I was nervous. I struck out. I mean,
It's all right.
And I think that he, being streetwise and knowing the system and knowing that I wasn't very confident in what I was doing, really hurt my chances of being able to talk to him.
You got a solid case on him. If he doesn't want to talk to us, nothing we can do. Just go ahead and put him in jail.
All right, Eric, stand up. Face that one.
With an ID from both surviving victims, detectives had enough to charge Eric Harris. The next break came once again from U.S. Marshals. A friend of Lorenzo Johnson's family told them Johnson was in Minneapolis.
I thought, wow, I mean, this is perfect. I mean, this is great. Now I just got to get to Minneapolis.
With the memory of the Eric Harris interview heavy on his mind, pressure mounted as Arredondo approached this crucial interview with Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, how you doing, man? I'm Detective Arredondo.
I said, you know, in real blunt terms, remember how you did that, how you messed up that first interview? I said, the pressure's on this guy.
I didn't have anyone that knew him by name and sight, so I had to get him to talk to me. Look here, brother. No matter what, I'm gonna treat you like a man. I know your heart hurts. We're gonna be honest with each other, right? You understand your rights? Okay, do you want to talk to me?
Sure.
Okay. I know you was there when they were shot. You got one dead and two living. They talking. They talking to me.
But they had to tell you how to shoot him.
Now you tell me what you saw. This is your story, man.
Kill me, dog. Y'all trying to kill me.
Mr. Johnson, come here.
I didn't shoot nobody. I didn't shoot
Mr.
nobody.
Johnson, this is your opportunity to let the folks know that you ain't no monster.
When he come out with a gun, he put you in this, and he's telling you to do this, and he's telling you to do that. He got a big ass gun. Then I'm doing that.
Johnson claimed he only helped Eric Harris with the robbery because he was afraid for his life.
I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry you got caught up in some stuff.
But this didn't match the story Johnson had told the family friend who turned him in.
Lorenzo had told him they were involved in a robbery of some drug dealers and they had to shoot bags.
3 months after the murder, Arredondo closed his first case.
Well, that's a good thing, man. Good deal. Got him in jail, got a statement.
I saw a huge difference than the first Detective Arredondo interviewing the first suspect. You know, he's a lot more relaxed. He's a lot more experienced, and I think he did an awesome job over there.
Although he didn't admit to firing a weapon, he was a party to an offense. So I mean, it was huge. It was a great day for me that day.
I knew it wasn't going to bring Brandon back, but I felt really good knowing that he wasn't on the streets anymore.
Detective Arredondo knew he would be playing a crucial role in the prosecution.
I had been a part of murder trials, but never as the lead detective. I was concerned.
In Dallas, an execution-style shooting left 22-year-old Brandon Brown dead. Rookie homicide detective Robert Arredondo had arrested 2 suspects. Now, he faced another challenge, his first trial as lead detective.
I kind of prepared myself for the worst. Hey, guys.
He met with prosecuting attorney Mark Moffett and his investigator to prepare.
I expressed to Mark that I was concerned, mainly because I was such a young detective and relative of experience at the time this case was taking place.
You know, you can be a great detective and everything, and smart and intelligent, do all the right things. And you get up on the stand, I mean, that's hard. People don't understand the spotlight's on you up there. Whatever you do, know your file better. Right. Better. Even the silly things, know it better than he knows it. All right.
1 year after the murder of Brandon Brown, Eric Harris was the first to have his day in court. He was charged with capital murder, which carries an automatic sentence of life without parole. The prosecution's case was airtight, with 2 victims who survived the shooting.
We have 2 eyewitnesses, and not only that, they know Black. They know Eric Harris.
It was clear Eric Harris was involved. The only question was what his sentence would be.
This defendant, Eric Harris, was the ringleader, and everybody believed that. This man's dead because of these 2 guys. Does his life mean anything? You look over there at Chris in that wheelchair. For the rest of his life, he's going to be wheeling around because this man tried to kill him. These are human beings, folks. Human beings that you line up and you have the gall just to open up fire on helpless individuals that are taped up. Folks, that's against human nature, it's against human rights, and it's against humankind.
Defense attorney Philip Linder argued that the witnesses were using drugs that night and were unreliable.
They used hundreds of dollars worth of drugs in that apartment that night.
I was hoping to get him found guilty of either aggravated robbery or a lesser included murder charge, where I could get him a lesser sentence than the life.
Ladies and gentlemen of the gallery, the verdict is about to be announced. Please understand.
The jury deliberated for less than an hour.
Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is your verdict as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Eric Donnell Harris, guilty of capital murder as charged in the indictment.
Yes, we have.
Thank you, and it is unanimous.
The first trial wasn't as bad as I thought. It was obvious that Eric Harris was the guy. When the verdict was reached and it was in our favor, I was very excited.
It was just a horrific crime. And when you look at that as a juror, even though you may not be convinced that maybe he shot all 3 of them, and you know that he was a part of this, I think that's why they find him guilty. They've got to do something.
Wherein you shall be confined for your natural life until this sentence is otherwise discharged according to law. Good luck to you, sir.
Eric Harris would spend the rest of his life in prison. 2 months later, Moffitt and his team were ready for the trial of the second suspect, Lorenzo Johnson.
Now, Lorenzo Johnson was going to be a different case, completely different case. Because now what? I have Lorenzo Johnson's statement.
Moffitt would use Johnson's statement to prove that he was in the apartment during the crime.
He came out with a gun, and he said, y'all know what this is.
And that he had several opportunities to leave.
He told everybody in the bathroom, I grabbed everything, and I went outside to my car.
And we can put this gun...
The prosecution would also introduce ballistics evidence to argue that Johnson was one of the shooters. Finally, Moffitt planned to call to the stand the friend from Minneapolis who had turned Johnson in.
Johnson told the witness in Minneapolis that him and a gentleman had gone to rob a drug house or a couple of drug dealers, and that they came out shooting and that they had to shoot back.
On his side, Lorenzo Johnson had Edwin King, a longtime Dallas defense attorney who'd spent 4 years as a county judge. King planned to argue that Johnson had helped Eric Harris out of fear.
Who taped him up?
Black.
Black told you to tape him up?
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson said he didn't have any weapon. He never fired a shot, never shot anybody. He just did as he was instructed, just trying to get out of there.
Lorenzo Johnson's trial began on a January morning, 2 months after the conviction of Eric Harris.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Just like Eric Harris, Lorenzo Johnson was charged with capital murder. Murder committed along with a robbery.
And to the indictment, sir, how does your client plead guilty or not guilty?
Your Honor, please support defendant in pleading not guilty.
Thank you, Mr. King.
One of the first witnesses to be called to the stand was Chris Dickerson, who had survived the shooting. Moffitt was counting on Chris to establish that Johnson was a willing participant in the crime.
During this whole deal, did Black ever threaten this defendant? Like, you better do what I say, or
No,
anything
sir.
like that?
No, sir.
Did any of that appear to you that when he was under some kind of pressure to do this, did it appear that way to you?
No, sir.
What did it appear to you?
They came in to do what they had to do. Mr. Dickerson, my name is Edwin King.
In his cross-examination, King tried to show that Chris was an unreliable witness. He read from Chris's statement to the police, which was different from his testimony.
Black had put the blanket over us. Then you say they shot us and they left. Yes, sir. No mention of ever seeing Mr. Johnson with a gun. Correct? Yeah, he had a gun. Never tell that to the police, do you? It might not be honest. I might have told.
Mind you, when the shots were fired, these individuals were covered up with a blanket huddled in a bathroom. So they didn't know who shot them.
When Prosecutor Moffitt called a firearms expert to the stand, he hoped his testimony would strengthen their claim that Johnson was one of the shooters.
We have a 25 auto, that's one, a 9mm, so that's two.
He said there were at least 3 guns involved.
You get the autopsy report back and you're like, whoa. We know now that we have 3 guns involved, and the likelihood of 2 shooters is extremely high now.
That the firing pin travel.
I didn't think it really hurt us too much. Could one person shoot 3 different weapons? Sure, why not?
When it was his turn, King planned to use his client's videotaped statement to help make his case.
He didn't want to get hurt. He didn't want to get shot. He was doing what he was told.
He's telling you to do this, and he's telling you to do that. He got a big ass gun. Then I'm doing that.
A year after the execution-style killing of Brandon Brown, one man had been found guilty of capital murder. The second man, Lorenzo Johnson, was now on trial for the same charge.
Now, Lorenzo Johnson was going to be a different case, completely different case.
The prosecutor, Mark Moffitt, called lead detective Robert Arredondo to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this cause will be the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Detective, please state your name.
Detective Roberto Arredondo, Jr.
They immediately turned to key evidence.
He got a big ass gun. Then I'm doing that.
Duress is a defense that admits conduct. I did it. I engaged in the conduct. But the reason I did it was because I was in fear of my life or another person's life, and that's why I did it.
What Mr. Johnson's telling you, every time Black told him to do something, he did it.
Yes, sir.
There's this question of forced to do something. What was meant by that question?
King hammered away at Arredondo, trying to show the jury that even he believed that Johnson had been forced into cooperating with Eric Harris.
The purpose of that particular conversation, quite frankly, was to see if he would admit having shot somebody, but under some kind of duress.
Yes.
I have no further questions. Pass the witness.
Mr. Moffitt?
Moffitt now planned to call the family friend from Minneapolis, the one who turned Johnson in. he would testify that Johnson admitted to helping plan the robbery. Then, at the last moment, he hadn't shown up. Presiding Judge Tracy Holmes asked why the informant wasn't there.
Well, that's because some lawyer told them they didn't have to come. That's a lie. Excuse me, Mr. King. Don't you ever tell me that I told you. Did I say it was you? Did I say it was you? Well, that's the insinuation. I said some lawyer told me.
King thought Moffitt was accusing him of sabotaging his case.
You made an accusation in my face. You turned towards me and made an insinuation. The judge thought you did. Everybody else in the jury, out in the gallery, thought you did.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, come on. I was probably out of line. I shouldn't have acted the way I did, and it was inappropriate for me to respond the way I did, and I apologize to the judge, but hey, that's just life in a trial.
My reaction is to try to maintain some decorum in the courtroom and to try to get control of the lawyers. And generally, I'm able to do that. But in some instances, I am not. And in that instance, I was not.
It's still hearsay.
Moffitt wanted Detective Arredondo to tell the jury what the Minneapolis informant had told him. King objected.
I'm going to let Mr. Moffitt ask that question.
Who said that and what they said?
The defendant told him that they had been involved in a robbery of some dope dealers and that there were some shots fired.
The testimony implied that Johnson was in on the robbery from the beginning. Now, it would be up to the defendant himself to convince the jury otherwise.
A jury trial is a roll of the dice. It's a gamble. It always is. He knew that he was going to be asked hard questions by Mr. Moffitt. It was ultimately his decision. He wanted to get on the stand and tell his side of it, and he did.
Thank you, sir.
Duress is an extremely hard defense because he needs to say, well, I thought I was going to be killed all during this, so therefore find me not guilty.
Why didn't you jump black? Why didn't you black at a gun? And I can't fight a gun. You know, I was scared. I had been up all night, and I was just scared. I was scared.
You don't move an inch until Black tells you to do something.
I don't do anything until he directs me. Everything I did, he told me to do. Everything.
During the robbery, Johnson brought stolen items out to his car several times. King needed him to explain why he didn't try to get away while he could.
Once again, you're outside.
Yes, sir.
You got a chance to just run on foot, get out of there, and just take your chances and deal with it like a man. Did you do that?
Well, sir, I felt that if I would have left in, he could find me easily. I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to go. I'm living on the street.
You think your life might be in jeopardy if you did anything at that point?
Yes, sir.
You could have gone to the police.
Yes, sir. I was scared. If they don't catch him before he catches up with me, then I'm dead.
Now the prosecutor, Moffitt, would have his turn at Johnson.
You can run away, but instead, you go back in the apartment of the guy that's going to shoot you.
Yes, sir.
In Dallas, two men were accused of the execution-style shooting of Brandon Brown. One man had already been found guilty. The other, Lorenzo Johnson, was now on trial. On the stand, Johnson claimed he was forced into participating in the crime.
Everything I did, he told me to do. Everything.
You were one of the victims, too. You're scared to death of a guy with a gun and you're not even looking at him.
The prosecutor, Mark Moffitt, was determined to show that Johnson had played an active role in the robbery and murder.
Taping somebody up so they later could be dragged and executed is helping.
I was done what I was told.
Okay.
Under Texas law, Johnson could be found guilty without having...
Anywhere, in the hand.
And you can run away, but instead, you go back in the apartment of the guy that's going to shoot you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You want us to believe that, Mr. Johnson?
It's the truth.
The argument the state made was, well, you could have gone to the police would have immediately taken care of it. Well, when you live on the street and you got somebody wandering around, they think you've gone to the cops. It's not real hard to hunt you down, find you, kill you, and drop you in a field somewhere.
You know, I wanted to do something, but I was too scared. You know, I wanted to do something. I felt like a coward, you know. I have no further questions. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. You may sit down.
With the testimony complete, the defense rested. Now, the closing arguments would begin.
All right.
It is your last opportunity to talk to that jury. And you certainly want to leave them understanding what your position is as clearly as you possibly can.
Ms. Ward, Mr. Moffitt. Members of the jury, good morning. State's got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that there was no duress. Which theory are we going with the state? Because, you know, they got so many, they're not sure either. And you know why? Because they don't know beyond a reasonable doubt. Vincent and Chris have specifically said and testified that this guy didn't do a single thing until he was directed to do it. Now think about that. He continually says, I didn't shoot anybody. You know, I got caught up in this thing. I wasn't really involved. I'm just doing it because I was told to do it. This charge, this courtroom, is for people like him. To get a fair shake. For people like you.
Your Honor, Counsel. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, first of all, I'd like to thank you for your time and your attention. This case is going to be one of the simplest cases you will ever see. Because why? Two of the executed people lived. If they would have died, we probably wouldn't be here. They would have got away with it. Because he certainly wasn't coming forward. Is there one of you that really thought the defendant would tell the detective, we planned to do this robbery all along, when they're lined up, I actually executed one of them? Did you think he would say that? You can take the defendant's own statement right here on this witness stand. The best he can do, he's still guilty. Don't feel sorry for him. He has earned the guilty verdict. Look out.
After 4 days of testimony, Lorenzo Johnson's fate was now in the hands of the jury.
I wasn't worried that the jury would have sympathy for this guy because of the things that didn't make sense.
I knew that they would be sympathetic towards anybody that had been shot under these circumstances. The question for the jury was going to be whether or not Lorenzo Johnson was a party to the offense.
As the minutes passed, Brandon Brown's family waited anxiously to hear the jury's decision.
He claimed to be the victim. He claimed to do things out of fear. We were like, don't let this man get off. He can't get off, he can't.
All rise.
In just under an hour, the jury had reached a verdict.
Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yes, sir.
And is your verdict as follows? We, the jury, find the defendant, Lorenzo Dwayne Johnson, guilty of capital murder as charged in the indictment. Is that the unanimous verdict of the jury? Thank you.
All rise.
Lorenzo Johnson was found guilty of capital murder.
When those families hug you and they think you're like, you're their voice. You're their voice for their children, their brother, their wife, their husband, and that's a big deal.
I don't think the jury ever believed that Lorenzo Johnson ever shot anybody, but I think they believed that he had an opportunity to leave and didn't.
I sit there and just cried. That's all I could do. Because he really thought that he was gonna get away with it.
Their goal was to execute him, all three of them. Luckily for us, they weren't successful. Unfortunately, Brandon Brown did lose his life, and Chris is paralyzed.
I believe that we as homicide detectives are charged with the duty of bringing justice to folks who can't talk anymore. And that gives you a sense of closure, that in this horrible crime, something was made right.
1 year after Brandon's death, his family is still trying to deal with their loss.
I deal with it now better than before. He rides in my truck with me every day because I have carried his obituary with me. It has not left since the day we buried him.
Like today, I really just can't believe that he's gone. It's like I can go through my whole day. And once I get by myself and I'm sitting by myself, you know, I'm thinking of him. It just hurts so. It's like I can't get past it. I never experienced no pain like that. No.
As we open the pages of this grand historical, criminological, and philosophical chronicle, we stand before one of the most poignant testaments of human resilience and the unyielding pursuit of justice. Every great civilization is forged not only through its triumphs and moments of collective joy, but equally through its capacity to confront its darkest hours with absolute moral clarity. The tragic events that unfolded in Toronto during the bleak winter of January 1988 represent far more than a mere footnote in criminal jurisprudence. They form an indelible watershed moment that forever transformed how a nation perceives public safety, institutional accountability, and the sacred dignity of innocent human life. In this opening chapter, we shall meticulously lay the empirical and conceptual foundation of our journey. We will examine the precise historical context of Toronto in the late 1980s, retrace the intricate steps that led to a catastrophic convergence of systemic vulnerabilities, and honor the eternal memory of Tima Konta, whose tragic passing catalyzed an unprecedented awakening in legal reform, victim advocacy, and societal responsibility across Canada and beyond. The urban tapestry of Toronto in 1988, a city at the crossroads of modernity. During the winter of 1988, the vibrant metropolis of Toronto was undergoing a profound sociological and cultural transition. Celebrated internationally as a burgeoning global hub of commerce, multiculturalism, and progressive urban living, the city projected an image of safety, prosperity, and sophisticated civic order. Yet beneath this shimmering facade of modern expansion lay complex institutional challenges, particularly within the burgeoning networks of social rehabilitation, correctional oversight, and community-based transitional facilities. The evolution of correctional philosophy. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, the Canadian correctional system experienced a philosophical shift toward deinstitutionalization and community reintegration. The prevailing humanitarian impulse sought to transition nonviolent and rehabilitating offenders away from traditional maximum security penitentiaries and into halfway houses and transitional residences situated within urban neighborhoods. While theoretically noble and rooted in the rehabilitation ideals of modern penology, this paradigm shift placed immense pressure on under-resourced community centers and demanded rigorous, infallible mechanisms of risk assessment and public protection. The institutional blind spots. The rapid expansion of transitional facilities often outpaced the development of foolproof administrative protocols. Interagency communication between federal correctional authorities, provincial parole boards, and municipal law enforcement agencies was frequently hindered by bureaucratic silos, fragmented record-keeping systems, and inconsistent threat evaluations. It was within this vulnerable administrative landscape that the tragic trajectory of Melvin Glenn Stanton was allowed to intersect fatally with the innocent life of Tima Conter. 2. The Anatomy of a Tragedy. The Fateful Convergence in January 1988. To fully comprehend the magnitude of the tragedy that struck Toronto on January